Holly Cotton here, and I am joined today with Randy Adams. If you guys saw Randy's episode of Beyond the Fit that we had, oh, I don't know, like 6 months ago or something, Randy, it's been a while. I have to remind people that I am the star of this show, not Randy, me. So everyone was so inspired by Randy's story, what he had going on. It was, we had some emotional topics that we talked about, as well as some serious topics, how you can be the change that we need in the community, all that great stuff. So it's so nice to welcome back Mr. Randy Adams.
Thank you, Holly, for having me again. It's an honor, it's a pleasure. Just glad to have the opportunity to be invited back onto your platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, whenever we had Randy on the first time, it was a few months ago, and I know uh, that you really hadn't s- opened up and started telling people your story about what happened with your condition. It was still kind of, you were still coming out of, I'm a survivor. I'm still trying to deal with surviving this diagnosis and all of the things that are going on with this. So for the millions of emails and comments and questions that I have gotten, can you tell us again what your condition was and what it caused to happen to your face and your skin?
Okay, so I'm gonna say it slow this time because it's honestly it's not something that people hear every day. So I'll just reiterate and I'll just say it a little slow. But it's called Pertura fulminans. It's Pura, and then the second word is fulminans, which is Fulminans. Two-time spelling bee champion. You hear that? So that's what the condition is called, and that's what they diagnosed me with. And basically, what it caused is necrosis of my skin. So it was a blood infection from an injury that I sustained from an assault. Um, and because of that blood infection, I'm sure most people heard of the term sepsis. If they haven't, then that's something they can Google, look up. It's called sepsis. It's an infection, it gets inside the blood, it spreads rapidly, and as a residual effect of that, as a snowball effect of that, it caused like necrosis on my face, my arms, my hand, my legs, my feet, and it shut down organs and everything inside my body. So I had to be hooked to a lot of machines to like uh, basically revive organ function and get get that infection pump flushed out. So or else they was gonna have to well, ultimately I could have died because I was in a coma the entire time, and on top of that, all of the with the organs shutting down. So ultimately I could have died. Um, Another worst case scenario would be they amputated all, it would have been like a quadruple amputee. They would have to cut out any area where that infection was present or those limbs wasn't functioning. So that would have been another course of action. I'm just grateful to God that I still got all my fingers and toes at the end of the day, though.
Right, right. Because most people that aren't in healthcare, they don't know that the fight or flight response is basically when your body is trying to only worry about the vital organs that you need. So they're worried about your heart and your lungs. So basically, that's your brain. Like that's that's your torso area. So
Right,
to your body, anything else is dispensable. So fingers, toes, eyelids, noses, ears, like all of that stuff. Your body's like, hey, we don't need that. We need to focus on right. Yeah, you don't need lips and eyes. Nobody needs that. They're focusing on making sure your heart is pumping and your lungs are able to push that air in and out. So just
right.
for the education for the people, because I am a nurse. Y'all forget I know a little bit about something too. Uh, thank you, Randy. Thank you. Thank you. So I know that one of the things that you've had going on since after surviving was the prosthetic placement and changing the colors and adding to that. And I wanted to touch on that because I feel like whenever we did our first conversation, that we talked a lot about a lot. And but there was a lot of questions that people had. They were like, okay, well, so what is the thing, or how do they do the prosthetic, and what is it? So can you give us some insight as like where you are, like how many times have you gotten a prosthetic, a facial prosthetic fitted? Now, I numerous, and how, and I would just like to say whoever did this last one, I mean, this they are on point, because you can't even tell you have a prosthetic on. They did skin matching. I mean, they're gonna have to have you a light skin one for when you lose your summer color in the fall and wintertime.
Yeah,
But can you tell us about that process and how that was for you going through that process, and then also, like how it works and stuff?
man, I wish I could run off the camera and grab like all the masks. I should have been better prepared for that. I got like an entire like showcase of them, like. But it's been so many different series. I've had over 10 different masks though. I, I know for a fact I got over 10 of them. Different colors, different shades. Uh, there's a process of matching and matching skin and matching features and going through like 3D imaging. A lot of machines that do like the whole three, like does this, the imagery of your entire face. I had to send
For
in.
anyone that's listening that doesn't get to see him, Randy's spinning around in his office chair showing how the scanner works to do that 3D 3D imaging. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Randy, for
Yeah.
the great example.
So it's like, and it's just it's amazing technology that they use to do it. I've never seen it. It caught me off guard. I was surprised to see that stuff like that existed. But I've sent in pictures and videos of myself, and they were able to, basically construct these masks based off, my actual features. I mean, it's not 100%, but I'm still like amazed at how close they were able to get because it did help me. But yeah, I've had over 10 different, and they're still currently developing new masks like with actual looks more like actual skin texture, like porous, and they're gonna get slimmer and just yeah, they just keep developing them. They get better and better.
Okay, that's, yeah, it's interesting, and I wanted to, what?
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, well, yes, you did. Yes. I was asking how the process worked, and also how many they did, and how was that. So, whenever you first, so I know it was a whole, it had to be a whole thing from you waking up to not having a face and all of that to now seeing yourself. So when you put your prosthetic on for the first time, did you feel a sense of normalcy? Like, how did that feel? Because, like you said, you couldn't hide behind the bandages anymore. There was just your face, and you didn't have nose and whatever. So, how did it feel the first time whenever you were like, wow, this really makes me look like my old self again?
You know, it's kind of crazy because I get questions like this a lot, and I actually, even though people may think I ignore like comments, sometimes I skim through my comment section and just to see what people are saying whenever I make posts or whatever about different like my mask, or when I take pictures with my mask, people make comments like, "Man, take the mask off." Like some people say you're beautiful without the mask, and I see all of those compliments. I see the terrible things people say too, but they have to understand that uh, initially when you're coming out of such a traumatic situation, when you come out of a coma and you don't even know that this is happening to you, when you first wake up and bandages come off, you're like, oh my God. You know what you used to look like, and then for all of that to be gone, for someone to give you something like this that resembles or has similarities close to what your face previous looked like is breathtaking. It's an emotional experience, and you kind of get like an attachment to your prosthetic because it's the closest thing to you that you had to your previous self, and they don't understand that. It makes me feel good. Like I look in the mirror when I get out the shower or something like that. When I'm getting ready for work, when I put it on, it's almost like restoration, and it's comforting because it also brings down my profile when I'm in public. So I get a lot of stares already as it is because, again, it's a guy with a mask. 24/7, 365. Like, anywhere I go, grocery store, work, people are like, why is he, it's, little kids, even at that, they look up like, mommy, this just happened to me. And I was in line at Target, actually. And the little girl was like pointing, like, mommy, what's that? What's going on with his face? And she's like, honey, hey, stop. Like, don't do that. Like, be nice. Don't stare. Um, but imagine if I had it off. Like, the days that I didn't have a prosthetic, the days that I didn't have these masks, it was 10 times worse. I couldn't keep eyes off me. So, and then people actually approach you like, hey, what's wrong? You straight? You good? What happened? Like all of this. So that's another thing is it's more comforting of an experience for me to go out in public. It gives me, you know, like a security. It gives me protection from um, what I just previously mentioned, and also I don't want to like drag it out. I know we're going to get to the next, you know, topic or whatever, but um, another thing that I want people to understand is that I have to be protected from a lot of environmental factors. Like it's dust, it's all kind of stuff blowing in there, allergens, pollutants that I have exposed areas underneath here that may or may not block some of that out. So it also provides protection from a lot of dust, dirt, debris, pollutants, allergens, and stuff like that. Um, and I need that when I'm outdoors. Like you have lips that cover your gums. I don't have an upper lip that covers my gums. So you don't want to just have like exposed gums just out in the open in the air and they drying out all of the time. You have nostrils instead of just a bridge of your nose. You actually have this part that protects you from all of that stuff going up there. You got like the little cilia hair and whatnot to protect certain stuff from blowing up your nose and whatnot. So, and I don't have that. So this gives me that protection that I need when I'm outdoors. Now, when I'm in the house, I really don't need it. Like I really don't need all of that. I'm comfortable when I'm at home, and I can stay moisturized and I can do everything that I need to do. So there you have it.
Well, I'm glad that you did point that out because I know even when I posted the video that we did, maybe it was on Instagram or YouTube. I don't know. Lots of comments, and that is what they say. They're like, "You're so beautiful. Take the mask off. You don't need the mask. You don't need the mask." And I understand totally what you're saying, especially being a healthcare professional, because obviously, we're talking about people, there's prosthetic fingers, prosthetic hands, prosthetic feet, their legs. Someone gets their leg amputated, they're already getting fitted for a prosthetic. So I'm glad that you did mention that about, it's not only just like you feel like you have to hide or whatever, but the whole point is that you want to have some normalcy back in your life, and that provides you a little bit of that. Yeah, if I lose my leg and I get my leg amputated, yes, I want to have a prosthetic leg bag. I want to have that mobility. I want to have that normalcy. So people don't understand that you appreciate it. And I'm also a cancer survivor, so I know when I woke up, in the morning after my mastectomy, I was the same way. I was like, I was so worried, how am I going to feel, having major surgery and not having any breast tissue anymore? How does this feel? So I get it. It's like, it's just part, I think, of us as the survivor, and wanting to have just that normalcy. You don't want to forget it. You're not saying it never happened, but at what point is it okay for you to transition to, this is me now, like this is how I look with the mask, this is how I used to look, I don't always have to look that way. So I'm glad that you said that, Randy. Good job. Let him know I'm gorgeous with the mask or without, but thank y'all for the love.
like whatever, like social media is not like a, it's not my reality. You know what people see online or whatnot. I still have family that love me. I still have, you know, friends that love me. They see me all of the time with or without the mask. I still live a normal life behind the camera. So um, I have no fear. I have no insecurities or anything like that. I'm exactly who I am because at the end of the day, it's about what's in there. It's the spirit, you know. And I have the same spirit that I had before all of this happened. I'm literally the same person. It's just some outwardly, you know, people, you know, they're all into genetics and aesthetics and everything like that. But at the end of the day, who are you on the inside? That's what's really what it's gonna come down to. If anything happens to anyone, you never know what, you know, what your fate is, what your day is, or when something can happen. You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. At the end of the day, it's what's in you and who are you, and how you uh, you know, how you react to situations and how you are you know, resilient through situations is going to be the true testament of, you know, who you are in those situations.
And I was actually going to add on to what we were saying, Randy, when I was my next question, but you actually opened the door for for the question, because I was going to ask you, now that you, because when we first talked, I know you were sort of just coming out, you were getting more comfortable talking about your story, and then it kind of just skyrocketed to like rise up and you became this social media star. Everybody wanted to hear your story. So I think that a lot of times we always say, there's this pain that always pushes us to our purpose.
Right.
We always find a passion sometimes by being humbled or being broken, or, thinking that it's one thing, and then life shows us that's not where you need to be. This is what you need to be doing. So I know that you're now speaking, you're doing more things, telling your story. So can you kind of tell us about that transition from whenever you finally were like, okay, I'm more comfortable now, I'm ready to start talking about it, and now using that as a platform to be a motivational speaker as well?
So first off, I want to say that there's no timeline on healing. No one can set a time or date of when you're supposed to heal. You can't do that to people. If something traumatic happens in your life, I don't care if it's a car accident, I don't care if you fell and bumped your knee. The timeline for you to heal and get over that, that's personal. Like nobody can project what they believe that timeline for you should be. So I did have a period where I was vulnerable, I was sensitive, um, I had a lot of figuring out to do. I had to rediscover myself. I had to do soul searching. I was going through depression. I was going through a lot of different things that like people don't know exactly what you've gone through behind the scenes, like the work that you've done in the dark to be able to appear to them in the light. So I just wanted to you know, throw that out there. But once I got into the right space, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Once I got into the right place, that's when, and I want to thank everyone that reached out to me also, like whether it's in the comments, whether it's in the DMs, in public. in the church that gave me like the encouragement. I did not do it alone. You know, it takes reaching out and speaking to people, and and you have to also find your own motivators as well. But um, once I got to that good space, and I finally like posted something, or I finally said something, and I just realized like there was an outpouring of love and compassion out there and support, and I'm like, you know what, I can do this, and it was that which fueled me. Um, so now I'm in a space where again I'm doing the groundwork. Like I purposely decided that I can't help anybody else I'm until I'm good myself. Like I want to be in a position where I'm sharing my story, but an unhealed person, hurt people. I can't be still having broken areas, and I'm telling other people to rise up, motivate, drive on, and get through this, get through that. Like I gotta make sure I'm like really standing on business. So I made sure that I did all of that first, but now I'm just taking the opportunities to get out into my community. I'll reach out to sports programs for youth, reaching out to the churches, to uh, just anything in the community where I could be of service, or where anyone feels like my story can um, just instill faith, hope, ambition, anything, motivation to get them to the next level. And behind the scenes, behind closed doors, like I have so many testimonies and so many stories that I can share with you from people that I've spoken with, and change lives. So um, even the last few posts, last major posts that I've put up, you seen me like either on the stage or at some kind of podium, or like just talking to people, because I'm actually doing what I believe is God's work, which is I'm actually doing the groundwork. I'm wherever I can lay hands, wherever I can get in contact people. Like I want to be able to look a young man or woman in their eyes. I want to look a grown man or woman in their eyes. I want to hold hands. I want to give hugs. I want to be able to speak to you directly. Like I don't need to. I don't. You get it. You get to a point where it's like I don't want to just keep social media, keep using social media, share, like, follow, comment, share. No, I want to see you personally, because there's so many. I read the comments and people say, "Man, when are you gonna be here? When are you gonna be in this city? When you gonna come on this podcast? When are you gonna come to our church? When are you gonna come to our football game or something? Speak to the kids before they go out onto the field." And I'm like, yeah, that's what really matters at the end of the day. Like, because that's the groundwork. That's what people are truly going to remember you for, and that's what I believe God has for me. That's what I believe His plans are for me. Plans to prosper. So
I love that,
you know,
Randy.
or I know the
Oh,
plans I have for you. So
right, right. But no, I mean, I totally get it. I think I kind of struggled with that at the beginning of when my podcast started getting kind of popular, and it was like I felt like I was always behind the scenes. So that's whenever I sort of went on the path of media personality. So now I'm on the red carpet, I'm doing stuff, I'm meeting and greeting, because like you said, you behind the camera, you still want to be a person. You want that's a persona that you have, but you want your character to also be
yeah,
exposed. And one of the questions that I want to ask you, and you can give me your honest opinion about it because you're very honest
right.
anyway, but I just want to ask you, because what happened to you and what you're going through is such an extreme thing. Like, a lot of people can hide a deformity. A lot of people can put a t-shirt on and cover up a scar. Like, your scars are just in your face all the
Yeah.
time. And How do you navigate where people feel sorry for you and you don't want people to necessarily feel sorry for you? You want them to hear your story, accept your story, be inspired by your story, but I feel like what you're trying to say is, but I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I want to go out and talk to these people because I want them to see me as an inspiration, how to push you to do more. So, how are you navigating that where you don't want people to necessarily feel sorry for you, but you still want your story to be told?
I love that question. I love it. Um, that I, it's so crazy that like I didn't even see this question coming, but I literally was thinking about this today as I was just going through some comments and whatnot. And I really want people to know that like I'm in a great space. Like I am in a healthy space. Don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. Like that's and I know that's you can't really tell people what to do. You can't tell them not to feel sorry for you, but I do want to inform and encourage them and let them know that I am in a great space and what the world has presented to me has not broken me. It is only I've only used the circumstances to kind of turn the tables and create like a different drive in me. Like it's created, just a different avenue of approach because I wouldn't say I was this. I don't honestly. I wouldn't say I was this motivated or this strong before all of this happened. Yes, I've been in the military. I've I've deployed. I've gone to Afghanistan. A few times over. I've done some very rigorous, extreme training in the U.S. Army. Um, and although that a lot of that made me like mentally tough and resilient, none of that compares to what I had to climb out of with this situation. So the fact that I'm still sitting here right now and I'm still having these conversations and I'm talking to you and I'm telling you like I'm good. Like I can't say it any other way. Like I got God on my side. I'm very faithful. My spirit is like lifted. It's elevated. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm in better shape now than I was before this happened.
And he is, y'all. He is, because Randy be
I
getting
was
it in,
like
okay?
150 pounds. You know, now I'm 190, and I never lifted. I never done any of this. Like I was a push-up, sit-ups, run guy. I could still carry a rucksack for 12 miles, but I was never in the shape that I was in now. Like I get busy when I go in that gym. That's an arena. I'm like a gladiator when I walk through that door. So um, yeah, I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I want them to learn from what I'm going through and actually take my story, take my testimony, and make everything applicable to your life, everyday life. Like I would like you to wake up in the morning if you feeling down or you down about a certain situation that you got going on. Be like, man, if he is still getting up, going to work, going out to the public, like you said, everything is in my face. I can't hide nothing, and he just full speed ahead, like beelining towards everything that still chasing his dreams down, still chasing his goals. And I can go down my list of things that I've done since I've not even since I got out the hospital, since I woke up out the coma. Everything I can go down that list, and it's this long. I never let it stop me. I never let it stop me. I never, like I never wanted anyone to feel sorry for me. Just see what I'm doing, and I hope that it inspires you to get to the next level in your life. I hope it pulls you out of your depression, your anxiety. I hope it gets you to a place where you are in a safe space. Because whether we like it or not, it's all around us. The devil is all around us. Like there's so many things that could tempt you towards destruction, and like none of us are like you. We
Exempt from
That's the word I was
whatever.
looking for. Like
Mhm.
not prone, but like exempt from things that temptations or any form of adversity. None of us are exempt from it. Anybody could get it. So it's a mindset thing.
I love that. Well, I'm glad that you were willing me. We were doing ESP. You were sending me the subliminal today to ask that question. You're
Oh,
welcome. You're
absolutely.
welcome.
We was thinking.
We were on one. We were on one today. Okay, okay. I love it. I love
Helping me out.
it. um, so last question I want to ask you about, because I know we kind of talked about your brand rise up whenever we had our initial show, and I know that you're kind of figuring out, or you were figuring out what you wanted to do with it, because it had taken off. You were getting a lot of notoriety of it, and I know that you decided to kind of rebrand it and relaunch it. So tell us about that and what the plan is for that, and how we can support you with the rise up.
First and foremost, I thank everyone for all of the support that I've gotten uh, with my brand Rise Up from day one. Um, thank you is just not enough. Thank you does not, it doesn't encompass everything that it really means to me, uh, to my family, to my strength, to my recovery, to everything that it, helped me get through. Um, Again, I started it with the intent to, it was just the, the entire, like the acronym, remember to inspire someone every day. Honestly, I never thought it would do like the numbers that it did. I never thought it would gain the attention that it did. It was just something I wanted to use as like, hey, this is my logo. This is my brand. This is something that's, uh, a symbol of my strength and my motivation and my recovery and getting through it. And I want to show other people like, hey, let's rise up. Like I was able to rise up out of that hospital bed. You can too, and that's what I wanted to do with my brand. Um, but now, I had to take a step back. I had some things in my life that required my immediate attention, and it just kind of, I won't say it's a setback, but I just had to go back to the drawing board. Like sometimes you got to take a knee and drink water. Sometimes you gotta take a knee. Sometimes you gotta put your head down and look at everything from a macrocosmic view and bring it back into a microcosmic view and rework it. Like entrepreneurship is not like a shoot to stardom. You don't go from the first floor to the penthouse suite on your first shot. You don't go from there to there in the first shot. Like some people like you got to take the steps. You got to take the steps. You can't just get on the elevator, and that's kind of what's going on. But I have every intent and every plan to relaunch in the next 2 weeks. Like I got logos redone. I got just a bunch of ideas that I've thrown at the wall 100 times over, and I'm ready to do it. Ready to relaunch this, and then I already have like the fall line planned out, which is gonna drop like mid to late August. All new like hoodies and sweatsuits and whatnot. So that's all gonna drop in the fall.
Okay, I love that. I love that. I love
Other
that. So
Sorry. That's
basically,
why the website is disabled. So because there's nothing on there. I took everything down. Everything was sold out. First and foremost, everything was sold out, and disabled the website. I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm gonna come out with new product, and once I get all of the everything, like all the logistics, then I'm just gonna go into my back office, reload, and then relaunch. So coming soon.
Hey, I love it. That means it's going to be bigger and better. Every time you, like you said, every time you to get you to get pushed back one step, you take five steps forward. So I love it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So you guys have to follow Randy on his social media so that way you can stay abreast of when he's going to have his launch, how you can support him. He'll have all of that stuff. So anything else, Randy, that you're working on that you want to share with us that we can support you on?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier in our conversation, is I'm I'm getting into I'm getting into speaking more. Like I'm trying to get into more onto a speaker's platform, whether it's motivational speaking, inspirational speaking, and try to engineer like social change and environmental change and be out to the community more. So if you want to reach out to me, uh, shoot me a DM. You can hit me at the Rise Up LLC at gmail.com. You can follow my Instagram at ran underscore rise up. Follow my Instagram. Shoot me a message. And I'm looking for any opportunity to travel, to come to your community, to come to your events, to come to your podcast, to do to speak. So that's like one of my new focus at this point right now. So and just check in with me. Just stop by my page, see what I'm talking about. I'm always trying to drop something inspirational and share my story and new things that I got going on. And I just hope that it motivates and inspires and and we all helping each other get to the next level. It's one team, one fight.
There you go. You know my hashtag, whole team
Whole
winning,
team
whole
winning. I
team
like
winning.
that.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Randy, for dropping in because, like I said, I got all of these messages over the last 6 months. Where is he at? Is he okay? Is he alive? How is he? How is he? I'm like, you know what? We're going to have Randy come on and do a follow up show for everyone who is a Randy Adams fan. So here he is. I brought him back for you guys.
Yeah.
He's still alive, still winning, still doing all of that. So, and I will have Randy, all of Randy's social media handles in the podcast notes. So, the clickable links so you can follow him. All of that information is in there. So, thank you so much, Randy. We're gonna have to check in on you in a few more months and see
Yes,
how
thank you
everything
for
is
having
going.
me. I was out chasing my dreams. That's all I've been doing. I set goals and then I go after them. So sometimes again you got to put your head down for a little bit. But I set out and I did what I had to do. I went and got my education. I finished school. So that was something that was on my immediate hit list, and finals and papers, and I'm like, all right, let's get this out the way. But so got that out the way, and on to the next rendezvous with destiny. So, but thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here. Like, can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you. We love that. We love that. All right, I know. Heart. No, Randy,
So,
you got to do
oh,
the
you
other
did
half.
that.
There.
Okay, I don't know how to. I,
Thank you.
yeah,
Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, that's Randy Adams, you guys. Okay, don't hang up, Randy.